We've been making some really good progress, and we're finally at the point where we can actually start installing asterisks. So then we can configure phones and SIP carriers and actually do some interesting things with asterisks. But before we get into any of that, we do need to go through the process of installing asterisks. So in this lesson, we're going to start with the configure command, which we previously had done. But before we do that, we need to download asterisks again. So I'm going to enter the user source directory using the cd command. I'm going to run ls, and you'll see that there's nothing in ls at this point in time. So we do need to go ahead and download asterisks. I'm going to flip over to the web page where I have all of my asterisks downloads. And in this video, or this lab, we're going to be using Asterisk Certified 11. That's what this course was designed around, so it's important that you use that particular version. So I'm going to go ahead and copy the link for Certified Asterisk 11 -LTS. I'm going to go back to the command line and run the wget command and just paste in the download link. I'm going to hit enter to download that. It is roughly a 33 meg file, so it could take a bit of time to download depending on your internet connection. Asterisk finished downloading, so we want to extract that using the tar command with the ZXF option. I'm also going to add the V option on there, which stands for verbose. The verbose is going to give us output as to what the command is doing, and it's going to show us all the files that are being extracted. So you can see we're watching all these files get extracted. Now I can run the ls command to see that directory being added. So here we have the actual directory where all the asterisk source files are stored. So using the cd command, I'm going to enter that. Once I'm in there, I can run the ls again, and we can see all the source code that is part of that asterisk download. Now we can run the configure command like we did last time. And you'll see that we do get some errors here. So the first couple of errors made the configure command bail out. We had the configure command check for GCC and CCC, which did not get installed because we haven't done that yet. So the asterisk compiler wouldn't let you run anything yet. So we do need to fix those errors, which requires installing some packages. I've already gone ahead and put together a list of all the packages that you'll need. I'm just going to install a couple of them here using the yum command. These will fix this error that we're getting here, and then we can rerun that configure command to see what else needs to be installed. Now that that's installed, we can run the configure command again. This time you can see that we're getting much more output, so it is continuing to run along looking at all the required packages. You'll see that we did error out again. We've gotten this error that says the ncurses development package is missing. So this ncurses development package is another one of the libraries that I include in the course resources for you to install. But I just want to give you an understanding of how to read these errors if you were ever to configure a different or install a different version of Asterisk, or maybe even compile some different software. So I'm going to go over to my window and copy this whole line. I can come back into the command window, paste that all in, and hit the enter key. That's going to go through and install all the packages that I've requested, as well as any dependencies that are required for those packages. You can see that we've finished installing those packages. So at this point, we can run the configure command again, and hopefully this time it will complete successfully. Now the configure command has completed successfully. It didn't error out, and we're looking at output that doesn't say anything about an error. So now we know that the configure command is completed successfully, which gives us the ability to actually compile asterisks. But before we do that, we want to run the command make menu select. Make menu select is a tool that shows us what packages or what asterisk packages are going to be installed, because asterisk includes a lot of different libraries, and we want to make sure that the correct ones that we're going to be using are getting installed. And then you can use this to install anything else that you would like. I'm using the arrow to key down to where it says channel drivers. The channel drivers in asterisks are things like SIP and any other type of communications of a audio bridge that you could be using. So I'm going to hit enter on channel drivers. In here, if you see a star on something, so you'll see we have this asterisk in where it says channel agent, that means that is getting installed by default. I don't have to make any changes to make that happen. So if I scroll down to where it says chan SIP, which is important, we're going to be using that as part of the lab in the next session, you'll see that it is starred, so that means that is going to be installed by default, which is important. But you can also see we have Dotty is not being installed, and it's X'd out because certain libraries have not been included. And if I mouse over the channel that has the XXX, I can come down here and it shows me what libraries it needs to be installed. So I actually have to install some other libraries before I can add that to the asterisk installation package. So now that I've checked that SIP is going to be installed, I'm happy with that, so I can hit the escape key to back up on the menu. The other thing you might want to do is, if you go all the way to the bottom where we have the extra sounds packages, I'd like to install the sounds packages because it includes a core list of extra sound files that you can use. I'm going to install the GSM version. So I do that by mousing over to the item and then hitting the space bar. I'm also going to include the ULAW version. And so to do that, you can see I've moused over this, and if I just hit the space bar, it adds the star to that. I'm going to back out of this menu by hitting the escape key, and I also want to install the music on hold. Well, good news for me, the WAV version of music on hold is included by default. So I can back out of here. And then we have the core sound files, which by default are included as well. They're including the GSM version of those. So I'm going to leave that as is. And then you can mouse around in here and just look at the different tools that are included by default and add in anything that you may use in the future. This is a great tool to be able to visually see what's being installed and obviously make changes to that depending on what you need and what your requirements are. So to exit out of here, I'm going to hit escape, and it's going to say, oh, you've made some changes. Are you sure you want to quit without saving? I'm going to enter no. You can enter Y to just exit out without saving. You can enter N to cancel and go back to the menu select tool, or you can enter S to save your changes and exit. So I'm going to enter S, saving my changes and exiting, and now I can actually run the make command. The make command is what's going to compile asterisks with all of the libraries and channel drivers and everything that we just looked at into binary files that are executables. So the make process can take a rather long amount of time. I would allocate, depending on the machine, anywhere between 15 to 30 minutes. Obviously, processor power is going to make the difference. So I've simply entered make and then hit the enter key, and now we're going to go through the compilation process. I would recommend pausing this video while you compile your system. Asterisk has now successfully compiled. I can see that I'm getting output here that says Asterisk build complete. That means it's finished compiling all the libraries into binary files that are executable on the system. It hasn't been installed into the system yet, though. We need to use this make install command to actually place all the files and binary files into the correct directories. So I'm going to run the make install command just like so, followed by the enter key. And then what you'll see is it's going to push all of these files to different directories throughout the system, and that way we can actually start using Asterisk to start it up as an application. The make install command completed successfully, so now we're getting an option here that says we can run make samples. Make samples is a tool that I would recommend you do run. It will actually create sample or example configuration files for Asterisk. So that way you can read through what the default configurations look like, and you can see all the different options that are available to you in the different config files. To show you what that looks like after the make install command completes, we'll run the make samples. Make samples. Run that, and you'll see that it's creating all these sample files for us. So now we can actually output one of those sample files. To do that, I'm going to look in the etc asterisk directory. This is a new directory that was created once we installed Asterisk. So I can do that, and you can see in here there's a lot of files, and these are all your configuration files for Asterisk. We'll be using these files to build our own configuration to get it to work with our SIP endpoints and our SIP carriers. But all of these files just give you an idea of what you can do with them and what options are available. So just to maybe look at one, I'm going to cat out, let's cat out the sip.conf file. As you can see, I'm just going back into that etc/asterisk, and then the file name is sip.conf. I hit enter. Here it outputs all the configuration file into the CLI, so I can see what you can do to actually configure some SIP endpoints. Now that we have Asterisk compiled and Asterisk is actually installed, we've finally got something that we can work with, but we still don't have it running as a service. So we're going to have to turn Asterisk into a running service application so that when we reboot the system or reboot the machine, Asterisk will come up and start running right away.